On this week's show, Daredevil #1, we're going to talk about some of the Super Bowl trailers and you fan cast Batman. Check it out, it's PREVIEWSworld Weekly and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday, it's New Comic Book Day, which of course means it's time for PREVIEWSworld Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in the world of comics.
And I know, like, you know, as nerds, right? As resident nerds, as nerds in general, we're not supposed to care about the Super Bowl, but we do, of course, care about trailers, right? And did you catch some of the trailers that went up this week? Any particular one that you thought was cool?
Well, they're all cool.
Oh, okay. You're so diplomatic.
I am. Well, I'm just excited about stuff.
Okay.
But actually, I really was interested in the Twilight Zone one.
That was cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm.
I
you didn't know that?
I didn't know anything about
okay.
it. So I went in and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Yeah, no, he's a perfect fit for that. And I like how they utilize like the actual Super Bowl for that.
Oh my gosh, and the way they moved into the trailer, how they were like shutting down the network to put the Twilight Zone, it was just really well done.
I also I kind of get the impression that someone at some point watched Black Mirror and was like, wait a minute, we have the rights to Twilight Zone, we should just do this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, it's perfect. I have to talk about the, I guess some people have mixed feelings about this, but like I actually loved the Avengers Endgame trailer.
Yeah.
Because Steve Rogers is pissed.
Yeah. Which is like, we know something's going to go down, right?
And I absolutely love that.
Steve Rogers gets mad, you know it's real.
Right. Like, it's like, that was just a tough trailer. And I'm glad that, like, they're still holding back. They're not showing us everything.
Yes.
I keep saying I'm going to go in blackout mode on trailers with Endgame. I need to, because the closer we get, the harder it's going to be.
Probably.
But, and also, there's a shot of Tony Stark and Nebula, which, watch Nebula.
Yeah.
Like, watch Nebula.
Oh, yeah.
Nebula's key. And, like, I love that her and Tony are, like, still in space. And, like, the perfect fit, right? Like, she's half robotic, he's Iron Man. Like, they're putting stuff together, whatever it is, all for it.
Yeah, it seems really cool.
You know, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this, but it's actually in our wheelhouse. Battle Angel Alita, or Alita Battle Angel. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm on, like, I know, I get, like, kind of like a lukewarm response from people about it. But
I'm always hesitant with stuff that like I read in my youth and was like really attached to.
See.
Right? Like that was one of the first, I think, big manga that I actually dove into. I don't really remember a lot of it because I was like 13 at the time and I am not 13 anymore. So some of it is in my head and some of it is definitely not. But I know I really enjoyed it. So I mean, at this point, I'm kind of a clean slate, I guess.
Right, yeah, you just starting over.
But I also, you know, over the years came to the realization that you can't
do exactly that, right? Yeah.
You can't compare them.
Although we're getting, I mean, like technology's caught up to the point that we can do something comparable.
Well, I mean,
you know?
Visually, yes.
Yeah,
I think visually it's
yes.
going to be really cool and it's
yeah.
going to work and it's going to have the aesthetic. But story-wise is what I'm getting at is that the story may not align entirely with what you got in the manga because of the difference in media.
Right. Yeah. It's short. It's going to be a 2-hour movie versus like multiple manga, which is coming out from Kodansha currently. They're recollecting all that entire series. So check that out. I'm just very excited because I feel like if it was James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez separately, I'd be kind of like, okay.
Right.
But it just so happens, actually that's not true. I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan. But like the fact that it's them together and they're working on this project that James Cameron's been working on for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like his interest in Alita predates Dark Angel, which ultimately ended up being Battle Angel Alita, like that's basically what that TV show was.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really curious about that. Like I hope it'll surprise people, and it just looks cool.
It does look cool.
It's like visual.
I'm all
eye
here
candy.
for the visuals and the action, and even if it's not substantive, it's like it's art.
It's art, right?
Enjoy it for what it is.
Enjoy it for what it is. So exactly, it looks very artistic, which I'm totally down with. You totally nailed it on that. And so yeah, let us know what you thought of the Super Bowl trailers in the comments, of course. Now we're going to kick it over to Anamia, as we do every week, and she's going to show us what's at comic shops this week.
Hey Previews World! Every week we give you the rundown on some of the books hitting the shelves for the first time. Here's what's at comic shops this week. For more info on these titles and others, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases.
And of course, that's just a little bit of what we've got coming out this week. For a full list of titles, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases to see what we've got. So what are you looking forward to?
Well, there's a book called, it's kind of a mouthful, Man and Superman, not Man in Superman. Man and Superman, 100-page spectacular. And it's actually, so this particular story was originally presented in Superman Confidential, and it was never released. Superman Confidential came out in the mid to early 2000s. And so DC's just releasing the entire thing in 100 pages. And it's done by Marv Wolfman, who did Crisis on Infinite Earths. He's responsible for the new Teen Titans. He's done all the cool stuff that you love.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really interesting because A, it's a story that we've never seen before. But I also think I feel like every couple of years we get a story that's like, this is why you like Superman. And I kind of feel like this is going to be that story. Nice. And it's coming from Marv Wolfman. It's Claudio Castellini, who's the artist on it. He's an Italian artist, so it's like a lot of gorgeous artwork. And the way it's described is like it focuses on young Clark Kent. But it's him arriving to Metropolis.
Cool.
And I get the impression it's a bit of a culture shock for him, and him kind of getting used to being Smallville, coming to the big city. I feel like it might be a cool little experience. It's 100 pages, so you're going to get the entire thing in one sitting.
That's nice.
So yeah, I'm all for that.
I like that. That's cool.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking at Empty Man.
Okay,
We're on issue number 4. And this is really cool. It's from Colin Bunn. Or Cullen Bunn, excuse me, which, as you said before the show, is apparently somebody that I gravitate towards in terms of
you seem to always select Cullen Bunn stuff, so.
And of course, he did Bone Parish. And the artist is Jesus Hervas, who did Hellraiser.
Oh, wow.
So we've got some super horror going on here. And this is a really cool concept. There's a pandemic called the Empty Man disease. And it makes you go insane and makes you really violent. And the government basically has everything on shutdown, but this one character, Melissa Carey, her family's not letting her get taken by the government, so they're basically just trying to keep the fact that she's sick under wraps, and it sort of unfolds,
Classic zombie mistake.
Yeah, essentially, right? So it just, one of those sort of the world is falling apart books that Thea likes.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's got a little bit of post-apocalyptic and supernatural, so there you go. And Cullen Bunn, because you like Cullen Bunn. Also out this week, you were talking about number 4. I've mentioned before of Wrong Earth number 6. So, this is a book that's kind of already pretty deep into its storyline. This is actually the final issue, but if you're not reading this book, you probably should read this book, and if not, you should probably get the trade when it comes out, which will be pretty soon. I had a chance to talk to Tom Payer, who's one of the writers behind this book. This comes from Ahoy Comics, who's doing a lot of cool stuff right now. And the idea is essentially like, what if Adam West's Batman met Ben Affleck's Batman? And what is happening over the course of these last few issues, that was the initial concept for number 1, but what happens over the course of these last few issues is they cross over into each other's world. And again, they're having a bit of a culture shock because one comes from this world where it's just a series of death traps and giant fish bowls and with piranhas in them, stuff
goofy,
like that. Very goofy. And the other one's like life or death, really dark and gritty. And now they have to save each other's reality, and they don't understand each other's reality.
Oh man, that's interesting.
And so now the villains are kind of coming into play, and you have the Ben Affleck, for lack of a better term, the character's called Dragonfly Man. It's not called Batman, but the Ben Affleck Batman I'll use for that for the sake of comparison. Is kind of taking a more lethal approach, and the Adam West Batman is taking a more he's being forced to, his hand is being forced, and so it's really interesting, and it's a book that's very much it's having fun with superhero tropes. It's enjoying being a superhero book, which I think we're kind of. We haven't gotten a lot of that lately. It's been a lot of meta stuff lately, and this is kind of just a fun superhero tale. So definitely check that out.
That's nice. That's really cool.
But what else are you looking forward to?
Red Sonja, number 1.
Oh yeah.
So Red Sonja is back. I love her. She's great. She's just totally awesome. And of course, it's the Dynamite 15th anniversary, so they're bringing back some good stuff. And the old she-devil of the Hyrcanian steppes is. Back on the battle wagon, right? I'm just excited to have her back.
No, it's cool. No, it's a fun, this is, Dynamite, of course, is on other Red Sonja books, but, they're really putting emphasis on, this is bringing her back to basics. This is the creative team that's going to be on this book, and, I guess they're going to be telling a much longer story this time around, so should be very fun.
Absolutely.
Also out this week, Green Lantern #4, which is definitely a favorite of mine. I'm still playing catch up on the series, but it's Grant Morrison, it's Liam Sharp. They're doing some really wild, kooky stuff. Of course, the Green Lantern Corps is sort of like the police of the galaxy.
Right.
Morrison's taking more of a almost Law and Order approach to this, where it's like issue by issue, you're kind of getting a different crime for each issue. Yeah, right. And it's just it's a fun take on Green Lantern. And Liam Sharp's got a really great art style. What else was out this week?
We also have Girl in the Bay #1
Oh,
out. Yeah, so this is from Dark Horse. And the story is in 1969, 17-year-old Kathy Sartori was brutally attacked and her body hurled into Brooklyn's Sheepshead Bay. Miraculously, she survives, fights her way back to the surface, only to discover that 50 years have passed, and an eerie doppelganger has lived out an entire life in her place. So she confronts not only that doppelganger, but the madman that tried to murder her 5 decades earlier.
Right,
and she's sort of trying to figure out where she is in this, because it's like, this is her world, but is it her world? And like, she's got this whole lifetime that's been lived out, and how does she sort of insert herself back into this existence?
Right, and someone's completely taken over too, which is really interesting. Yeah, it's J.M. DeMatteis. I always struggle with that. It's a tough one to say, but he's done a lot of great stuff. He's done personally my favorite Spider-Man run, but he also did Kraven's Last Hunt, which is another Spider-Man run, of course. He did Justice League. Just a well-rounded writer, and he's joining up the Burger Books crew. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, seems really cool.
Also out this week, we've talked about this before, Daredevil #1 by Chip Zdarsky, and we've talked about this before, but we've also had Chip Zdarsky do a little pitch for us on the show.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had a chance to that, I think we're actually going to repost that on our YouTube later this week.
Cool.
And it comes on the heels of the death of Daredevil, which is a major story arc that just ended. And it's interesting because the Daredevil typically has a lot of Catholic symbolism in it. And so what Chip Zdarsky is doing here is he's playing with the idea of death and rebirth. And so it's a matter of, okay, we've done Born Again before with Daredevil, but what is Daredevil being born into? How is he being reborn? Like, what is this incarnation of Daredevil going to be?
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. Very top secret, but check it out and you'll find out when you pick it up at your local comic shop. And now we're going to kick it over to news, and we're going to talk about some of the things that have happened in the world of comics in the last 7 days. Let's check it out.
Free Comic Book Day 2019 is the perfect chance to dive deep into the Marvel Universe with new stories and exciting adventures alongside some of Marvel's most acclaimed creators. And this year, Marvel is bringing you the biggest and boldest stories yet. Fresh off its 2018 GEM Award win for Best Free Comic Book Day Book, Marvel is excited to reveal the creative team and cover for Free Comic Book Day Avengers #1. In addition to the comic, select retailers will receive a free Avengers promo button showcasing the dynamic and stunning cover art from Free Comic Book Day Avengers #1 by Ed McGuinness, available while supplies last. Keep an eye on Marvel for more Free Comic Book Day announcements in the days to come, and be sure to stop by your participating local comic shop on Saturday, May 4th to pick up your free copy of Free Comic Book Day Avengers #1.
It's a great creative team. Ed McGuinness is not on the interior, but that's because it's an original story, which is also pretty cool. So definitely check that on Free Comic Book Day.
For sure.
Yeah, brand new Avengers.
Wee wee. Next up, Neil Gaiman's story of Shadow, Wednesday, and the Gods comes to its epic conclusion in American Gods: The Moment of the Storm. This is the third and final installment in Dark Horse's American Gods saga, preceded by American Gods My Ansel and American Gods Shadows. The American Gods novel, of course by writer Neil Gaiman, has been adapted into a comic series by the incredibly talented writer and artist P. Craig Russell, with art and colors by award-winning artist Scott Hampton. American Gods: The Moment of the Storm #1 arrives April 17th, 2019, and is available for pre-order at your local comic shop.
And of course, we got to point out the trade paperbacks for the previous series are available at your local comic shop as well. So definitely check those out.
Get caught up. This is a cool story.
Have you watched the TV show at all?
I have watched the TV show and I read the novel.
And what do you think?
I love all of it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's really great. I love any books comic, novel, what have you, that bring mythology back into sort of the modern age. I love being able to teach that to the new generations. So, because you're not going to go and read the Odyssey anymore, let's be real.
Right, yeah. I mean, not unless you're in Latin class in high school, right?
Well, or some specific history class, right? So being able to bring those stories forward, because they're such a big part of my childhood. I mean, I did actually read the Odyssey.
Right,
and my dad was really big on Greek mythology and all that stuff, so it's good to see that it's still out there.
Right, not reapplied to a new generation, right, yeah. And
in a really creative way. I really love the way that Gaiman has brought them. And not not just, I mean, it's not just Greek mythology, right? It's the gamut of mythologies. And of course, a new modern mythology. Yeah. Because he has his own modern pantheon. And so just, I love it. Yeah. It's one of my favorite things.
Good deal. All for it. Highly recommended by Thea.
So now we have stars Steven Yeun, J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh, Seth Rogen, Jillian Jacobs, Andrew Rannells, Zazie Beetz, Mark Hamill, and more will star as voices in Amazon Prime Video's new hour-long animated series Invincible from acclaimed writer Robert Kirkman, co-creator Cory Walker, and artist Ryan Ottley. Based on the popular comic book series of the same name, the 8-episode series will premiere globally on Amazon Prime Video in over 200 countries and territories in 2020. Invincible is an adult animated superhero show that revolves around 17-year-old Mark Grayson, who's just like every other guy his age, except that his father is the most powerful superhero on the planet, Omni-Man. But as Mark develops powers of his own, he discovers that his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it seems. Invincible, Kirkman's second longest comic book series, concluded in February 2018 after a 15-year run. The full series is available across 23 countries and in 8 languages, and is also currently in development separately as a feature-length movie.
And my initial reaction when I was like, they're doing an animated version? I was like, you can't do an animated version, because I assumed it was for kids. But no, it is, it is an adult.
Yes,
they made that very clear in the press release. So,
for sure.
So I'm actually very curious to, I'm actually very enthusiastic to see Ryan Ottley's artwork animated.
Yeah.
I'm very curious how that'll look. Yeah, so cool, good on you. I'm actually looking forward to that.
That's a neat one. And last but not least, DC celebrates 80 years of Batman in March with the release of Detective Comics number 1000. DC announced that retailers can put this historic issue on sale at midnight on March 27th. They're also welcome to put all other DC items on sale at this time, including the Detective Comics 80 Years of Batman hardcover. This 96-page issue is stacked with an unbelievable lineup of talent that will take you on a journey through Batman's past, present, and future, plus a sensational epilogue that features the first-ever DC Universe appearance of the deadly Arkham Knight. Along with an all-star cast of writers and artists, this issue features a wraparound cover by Jim Lee and Scott Williams, and is solicited with 9 Decades variant covers, plus a blank variant cover. Watch for more updates on Detective Comics number 1000 coming soon.
Yeah. That's a big one.
It's really cool. That is a ton of variant covers.
It's a ton of variant covers.
So many.
And they all look really cool,
they
actually,
do.
which is
And
nice.
the fact
the ones
that
we've seen so far.
Yeah, the fact that they're done by decade like that is really cool to me.
Well, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Oh, no, it really goes through the history. And that's a beautiful thing about a character that's been around for 80 years.
Exactly.
It's you have a lot of different incarnations of Batman, which we're going to talk about later when we start talking about casting. But just a really, it's a milestone. And just like Superman last year, this is a major moment for comics in general.
Right.
So I'm all for it.
1,000.
1,000. That's nuts. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and take a look inside the Previews toy chest. Natasha's here. And of course, comics aren't the only thing at your local comic shop. Of course, there are toys, action figures, statues. So Natasha's going to take it away. She's going to show us what's inside Previews toy chest.
Hey Previews World! Here's this week's rundown of some of the toys, statues, and collectibles hitting the store shelves for the first time. Let's take a look inside the Previews toy chest for the week of February 6th, 2019. Want to see more? Be sure to check out Talking Toys, our weekly show that spotlights new collectibles on their way to your friendly local comic shop. Just head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys to find out more.
Like Natasha mentioned, you can catch her every week on Talking Toys. Check out Previews World's Toy Chest for more. And I got to say, the Prince Pop, I know like about like 50 people who would probably want that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, one of my best friends really loves Prince.
Yeah,
and I'm sure if she knew that I existed, she'd be like, "Can you get me one of those?"
Right, yeah. Like, there's nothing Funko hasn't like done, and Prince that's proof right there. Purple Rain Prince.
Yeah.
So now they need to do Graffiti Bridge Prince, and like it'll be complete. You can do a million different Princes actually.
There are very many iterations of Prince. I mean, they did it like I said last week. Yeah, last week with Gerard Way.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All the iterations
and
of his costumes.
Yeah, right.
Just do that with Prince.
So last week we gave away the Shazam 2-pack with Black Adam, and we got a winner, right?
We did. We got a winner, Ricky Martinez, and he gave his little detailed explanation of why Superman can't beat Shazam, which is, it would be really hard, but he could. Shazam can't match Superman for strength or speed, but Superman's invulnerability doesn't exactly apply to magic, which Shazam has complete mastery of.
All right. I'm gonna give him credit because there were way more wordier like explanations than that, but he managed to like kind of like encompass it, like and like points to you. Also, he's correct because I saw a lot of people saying Superman could beat Shazam. You got to stop it.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, guys.
Think so. As much as we want him to,
it's magic. Superman can't deal with magic.
It's true. He don't magic.
He don't magic good. So, but we're doing another giveaway like we do every week.
Yes, yes.
So what do we have this week?
We have some DC Vinimates.
Nice.
We have The Flash, Supergirl, and Green Arrow. And we want to know which of these CW's DC shows is your favorite.
Yeah.
Comment wherever you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, and we could pick one of you guys to win these.
And I just want to point out, these aren't the CW versions. This is more of a classic version, but they are still your favorite characters from those shows. So let us know. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at a trailer. It's The Division, Extremis Malice, which is currently coming out from Dark Horse Comics. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Check it out.
An agent of the Division. One of the last of the first wave. Fighting for what remains of this world. But when a new evil takes one of his own, hope gives way to vengeance. Ubisoft, Massive, and Dark Horse present a tale of duty and revenge. The Division, Extremis Malice. First issue available January 9th. History will remember.
And that was The Division, Extremis Malice, of course, based off the popular video game. And this is like their attempt to do more of an extended universe thing. The cool thing about this is that like The Division really is like the concept really lends itself to like expanding out.
Absolutely.
Like there's just so much fertile ground for that story. So definitely check that out. Like I said, this is the most recent issue is about to drop, but like the series has been going for a couple of months now. It's available from Dark Horse. So definitely take a look. And there's an art book coming from Dark Horse too. So definitely check that out. And now we're going to get to the stuff that you guys have all been waiting for. This week's Social Swamp like was the easiest, like forgive me for saying this is the easiest bait to dangle in front of people. And we didn't really give it much thought when we like put it together. We were like, oh yeah, tell us your suggestions for Batman because that's what everybody was doing like last week. But people jumped all over this like in a heartbeat. So we're gonna go ahead and you guys tell us, you do your little fan casting for Batman and we'll respond. Probably give our own on top of that.
So we asked you guys who you think should be the new actor to play Batman in the Dark Knight series, right? And we got some pretty choice answers.
Yeah,
right?
More than a few.
yeah. So we've whittled it down.
Yeah.
But we have Mauricio Leon Rodriguez says, for the record, nobody has said that he won't be playing Batman anymore, just that he won't be in that particular movie.
Which is accurate.
To, He may be, we might get old Ben in there on another.
Old Ben.
Kyle Risnar said, he's said it countless times now. Old Batman, John Hamm. Young Batman, Armie Hammer. Which is not a terrible idea, actually.
Armie Hammer's Batman. Well, I think George Miller was supposed to do a Justice League movie.
Yeah.
And don't quote me on this, but I think Armie Hammer's supposed to play Batman in that movie before we got the Zack Snyder version.
Yeah.
But it's on the record now, so you don't have to say it anymore.
There you go. And then Tracy Davis 74 said Jensen Ackles.
Who's that again?
Supernatural.
Oh, right, yeah. Actually, she wasn't the only one who said it. Someone else said that too.
That was one of the ones. So getting into it, we had quite a few repeat names.
Yeah. Like there was some. I saw a lot of John Hamm, which I think is another one you have there, right? Yeah. Yeah, like there was like some go-tos. Some of them I kind of felt was a little lazy, guys. Like Tom Hardy can't play everything. I know it seems like Tom Hardy plays everything because he kind of just like randomly is like every character.
Time.
It's like him and Sam Jackson are just kind of
yeah,
there.
it's their moment.
But yeah, like I saw definitely a lot of John Hamm, more than 3 or 4. So also I want to point out the typo. Because it was on screen earlier. Johnny, what did you say followers is?
Followers is from the Old Testament. It's Latin for internet followers.
There you go, right.
Beautiful.
So there you go. Little history lesson for you. That's my fault, sorry guys. But nobody caught it, which was funny to me. So I don't know.
Distracted from other things.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, the font's a little distracting too. The color of the font's a little distracting too. Hey,
Pull yourself together, Troy.
Can always be magic. Sorry guys.
But I think that Jensen Ackles is kind of an interesting pick.
Yeah, like if I'm thinking of the right brother from Supernatural.
Yeah, it's the short one with the short hair.
That doesn't help at all, but okay.
And there's the big one with the long hair.
Okay, all right. I haven't watched a lot of Supernatural, but I think I know what you're talking about. That would be an interesting choice.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure it would be I don't even know who my first pick would be. Let's be real.
Not at all. Yeah.
I had never thought who should play Batman.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I sort of leave that to the experts.
No, it's fair. I mean, that's valid.
But Jensen Ackles is not a terrible idea.
Not a terrible one.
Yeah.
But
you can't tear him away from that show, so
right, yeah.
you won't get him anyway.
Apparently, you can't tear him away from that show. The show's on season 20 or something. I don't know. I just made that number up, but that might not be too far off.
It's a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
So many
It's crossed a lot of generations. Supernatural.
Yup.
The only thing I could really think of, and it's not even really an actor, it's just sort of like a type, is and maybe this is nostalgia playing its part here, but like I kind of miss like the oddball, eccentric Tim Burton Batman.
Me too.
I always. I have mixed feelings about Christian Bale, and I know I'm very much in the minority on that one. But I liked the idea that the guy saw his parents get gunned down. He might be a little screwed up in the head.
Just a little.
And a little bit of a recluse.
Also, it's a comic book.
Also, it's a comic book,
So
right?
I always really enjoyed the over-the-top comic aspect of the Tim Burton movies.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. But also just as a personality type, I always just kind of liked Michael Keaton as like this kind of weirdo. Like he's charismatic, but he's also just a little off. And I would like to see a return to that. That's all I'm saying.
that.
But yeah.
I can get down with that.
But I mean, there weren't any bad choices. But I don't know who could play Batman at this point. I have no idea. And I was actually on board with Ben Affleck. I actually liked him. Well, I didn't like him in Justice League, but they kind of dragged him back on set. It kind of felt.
I haven't seen any of the movies that he's been Batman in.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, I liked him in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Like he looks like the animated series Batman. Like
cool.
the voice was right, which is the thing that drove me nuts about Christian Bale and kind of ruined those movies for me. So yeah, I mean, guys did good. It wasn't bad. Like we'll see.
As always, we'll see.
Yeah, and actually, it's cool that Matt Reeves is directing it. Which, if you've ever watched the Planet of the Apes movies, those movies are really good. And so I'm actually looking forward to what he'll do specifically with Batman because he's been in the running for that for a while.
Cool.
So, and that's almost it for us this week.
Yeah.
But of course, we have our comic shop shout out.
Absolutely.
So, who's shouting out what this week?
This week we have Painted Visions in Woodbridge, Virginia, and that was sent in from Charles Parks. So we'll leave you guys with a whole bunch of images from that joint at the end of the show. And of course, as usual, if you want to be featured on the next show, let us know what your favorite local comic shop is. Find us on social media wherever and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS and we could feature you.
And also I want to point out that Painted Visions, right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yeah, Painted Visions has a weekly show. It's called NRW, which is New Release Wednesday. Check them out after you watch the show, of course. And that's it.
Here we go.
This has been Previews World Weekly. I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Fia, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
Thanks for watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.